What's up, good people? What's up, good people? It's your boy, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., the Impact Builder, coming to you from the brand new, as you can see, I'm outside today, the brand new suite. And where we bring you knowledge, information, resources, where we give you hopefully information that enlightens, empowers, and impacts you, teach you something, equip you with something, and impact you to want to do something. That's what we do. That's the culture, the brand new culture. That's the black print culture that we cultivate here at JNF Enterprises with me, that we do every single day. Morning, Doc. Morning. Got my walk in outside. Looked like it's gonna rain today, but it was nice enough day outside today that I did my walk outside, y'all. So I gotta get them in before the weather really changes. So I'm getting them all in before it gets real cold. Y'all will see me inside and outside. So if I'm inside, y'all know it's cold outside. If I'm outside like it is now, you know it's gonna be a pretty nice day, or it's already a pretty nice day. It's actually supposed to I think get into the 60s or 70s today here. So it's gonna be pretty nice here. So welcome to the brand new suite. Y'all know what we've been doing this week. We've been talking about be uncommon. Are you, as an entrepreneur, as a leader, are you uncommon? And what I mean by saying are you uncommon, you're not like everybody else. You're not one of those entrepreneurs, you're not one of those leaders that goes with the flow, that goes with everybody else. You're someone who is not afraid to be uncommon, to be that person. To be that person that stands out. Being uncommon. These are five ways that entrepreneurs, leaders are uncommon. Yesterday, we talked about curiosity, not being afraid to be curious. Today, we're going to talk about willing to experiment. You have to, as an entrepreneur, as a leader, you have to be willing to experiment. Y'all know it's Tell the Truth Tuesday. We Tell the Truth Tuesday, Talk to Me Tuesday. So that's what we gonna do. And willing to experiment means you have to be curious. That the curiosity comes before the experimenting. As entrepreneurs, you can't be afraid. You cannot be afraid to experiment. There are gonna be things that you're gonna try and they're not gonna work. I had a speaking engagement last night, and when I was talking about branding, when I was talking about marketing, when I was talking about being an entrepreneur, I talked about not being afraid to try things, because there are going to be things that you try and they work. There are going to be things that you try and they don't work. There are going to be partnerships that you collaborate on. They're going to work. They're going to be events, or they're going to be things that you all try to do together, and they're not going to work. It does not mean that you don't experiment. Does not mean that you're not curious about how something can work. If it doesn't work, be curious enough to say, hey, why didn't this work out? As I said yesterday, dig deeper. Figure out what happened. And figure out if it's worth trying again, or figure out if it's worth, hey, we need to leave that alone. But you've got to experiment. I say this all the time, and I'm not going to be long today at all. I say this all the time. Formula 409, the all-purpose cleaner that some folks use. You know why the name Formula 409? Because it took them 408 rounds, 408 formulas before they got to the right one. Now, can you imagine if the creators of Formula 409 weren't willing to experiment? I can't tell you. I tell you about the History Channel show, the Titans that built America, the food that built America, the men that built America, the candy that built America. They had all of them. But if you watch that show, every entrepreneur should be watching these documentaries. I promise. They are so worth your time. And they come on every Sunday evening. Or it actually usually they do a marathon every Sunday. It usually comes on early Sunday morning. Maybe not early Sunday morning, maybe mid-morning. Around 10, 11, maybe even 12 at the latest. And then it goes throughout the whole day on the History Channel. But one of the things that I noticed with those with those entrepreneurs, they were not afraid, or they were willing to experiment. If something didn't work, they kept working at it. They kept experimenting to see what would work. Colonel Sanders, the creator of KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, well, it's KFC now, but Kentucky Fried Chicken, which was the name when it first came, when the restaurant was first opened, he did not become successful or hit with his chicken until he was 62, I believe it was. I know he was in his 60s. But prior to that, he had tried to fix chicken a number of ways through frying it, but he wanted to get it perfect every single time, and the fryer that he was fixing wasn't getting it right, or he would leave it in too long or take it out too soon, but he was willing to experiment with chicken until he got it right with the 12 herbs and spices. We still to this day don't know what those 12 herbs and spices are. But he was willing to experiment until he got the perfect 12 herbs and spices that created the restaurant that we eat from, that we eat chicken from, known as Kentucky Fried Chicken, or KFC. What are you willing to experiment with today? What are you willing to not give up on today? What are you willing to dig deeper on today? Because as leaders, as entrepreneurs, if you aren't willing to experiment, you got to listen. You got to listen to what your eyes tell you, what your ears tell you, what your mind tells you, what your partners tell you, what those that work for you tell you. You got to listen to all of them. Don't be afraid to try something. I said that about the Ravens. Man, this past Sunday, they looked really good, and the young man, Keaton Mitchell, I believe is his name, number 34 for the Ravens. I saw him when I saw him playing in preseason, and he did very well in preseason. And I mean, I saw his speed. I was like, ooh, the Ravens better keep him. And for sure, they kept him. But here's the thing: they didn't start him. But what they did was, 9 games in, they experimented with playing him because he's a rookie. They gave him some run. And what happened Sunday, he had 9 carries for 138 yards. I'm going to say that again for y'all. He had 9 carries for 138 yards as a rookie. The Ravens coaching staff were willing to experiment with this rookie, and I'm sure in practice they were playing him. So, but they were willing to experiment, give him the opportunity in order to be able to show what he could do, and for sure, he showed up and showed out this past Sunday. So you better believe that young man, Mr. Keaton Mitchell, is going to get some more run now that the Ravens had experimented with him and he was very successful. So as a leader, as an entrepreneur, are you ready to experiment with something that you're on the cusp of experimenting with it? You're like, I'm not quite there yet. Go ahead and pull the trigger. Today, I want you to pull that trigger on what it is that you want to experiment with. That whatever it is in your business. If it's a new product, experiment with it. If it's a new service, experiment with it. If you as a leader, you're looking to be able to do something a new way, a policy a new way, experiment with it. Because here's the thing that a supervisor of mine told me years ago. He told me years ago with us. He did not want us to be afraid to try and do something. He said there's nothing there's no mistake that you can make that we can't fix. And when you have that mentality, when you have that kind of mindset going in as a leader, as an entrepreneur, trust and believe you will have the backing of those that are working for you, that are working with you, and that you are doing business with. I promise you. Don't be afraid to experiment today. Don't be afraid to try something different. Don't be afraid to try something new. Hey, Brother Steve, how are you? Hey, Miss Mary, thank you for joining. Don't be afraid. Be willing to experiment today. Whatever it is. You got all of 2024 coming up to be able to say, hey, okay, that didn't work. Let's move to something different. Let's try something different. And if it does work, excellent. It puts you that much further ahead of everybody. Because trust and believe, there are many entrepreneurs, there are many leaders who are afraid to experiment with things. Oh, I don't want to go outside. I don't want to color outside the lines. Or, oh, I don't want to mess up I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to go against the grain here. Success is never achieved in mediocrity. Success is never achieved in comfort. Anyone that has achieved any amount of success or super success, anyone that you can think of that has been great, they've been willing to push themselves. They've been willing to experiment with different things. They've been willing to do things different to see if it works. Ask Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods went years doing the same stroke when it came to his golf swing. And all of a sudden, as he got older, he adjusted and changed, experimented with different different golf swings. So don't be afraid to change your golf swing today. Try the new way, see if it works, and be observant enough, and be honest enough, be real enough to understand. And be real with yourself. Say, hey, that worked, or no, that didn't work. And we talked last week about measure and adapt. Experimenting is about that very thing. Measuring and adapting. Measuring and adapting. Measuring and adapting. Experiment, measure, adapt. I'm going to say that again for you. Experiment, measure, and adapt. That's what you do. That's what successful leaders do. That's what being uncommon is about. Mediocrity is being common, looking like everybody else. As you can see, these condominiums around here, all of them, y'all can see them. All of those condominiums that they created look exactly the same. Every single one of these buildings looks exactly the same. There's nothing uncommon about these buildings. They all look the same. The only difference in them is the numbers. Each design inside are pretty much set up the same way. Is that what you want as an entrepreneur? Is that what you want as a leader? Is to be like everybody else? Where folks can't tell the difference between you and everyone else? Well, the difference between you and everyone else is your willingness to be able to experiment. Those that are willing to experiment, those that are willing to go beyond the edge, to go to the edge, will be those that will be successful. Not just successful, extremely successful. So how successful do you want to be? Are you willing to be uncommon? Going into 2024, like I told you, we're about to unleash in 2024. Being uncommon is about unleashing in 2024. You can't be common and unleash. You can't. There's no way possible for that to happen. They don't go together. That's like oil and water. They do not mix. So if you're gonna be uncommon, one of the ways that you become uncommon is be willing to experiment. Be willing to experiment today. If you get the opportunity, you get that challenge that comes, you take that challenge. Take that challenge. It's going to be the difference between you being who you are ordinarily and you being that 1% better. As y'all know, I always talk about being that 1% better today than you were yesterday. Let's go. Let's be uncommon today. Let's experiment. Be willing to experiment today. Let's be uncommon. It's your boy, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., the Impact Builder. We'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Go out, be uncommon. We'll see y'all soon. Peace.